At the 2024 Australian Science and Technology Airshow, the F-22 stunned the entire audience in just 8 minutes, fully showcasing the aircraft's maneuverability and advanced engine capabilities. Before the performance began, the pilot had a brief interaction with the audience. The powerful lines of the fuselage are incredibly impressive. Absolutely stunning. Now let's take a look at the maneuvers performed by this already discontinued fighter jet. The Raptor's takeoff and closing maneuver is the most elegant among all fifth-generation fighters, resembling a soaring eagle. Immediately after, the pilot initiated a vertical climb. At this point, the fuselage was perpendicular to the ground at a 90-degree angle, effortlessly completing the maneuver. A clear demonstration of the Raptor's powerful propulsion system and reliable flight control system. The pilot then performed another vertical climb, leveled off, and executed a Herbst maneuver during the ascent, much like a swimmer turning and pushing off the wall. The aircraft remained very stable throughout. After speeding through the sky, the jet descended to a certain altitude and opened its weapon bay doors, revealing its internal weapon compartment. Following that, it executed a barrel roll, showcasing not only the F-22's stealth characteristics, but also its in-flight agility. The pilot then rapidly pulled the Raptor into a steep climb. Judging by the movement, it appeared to be preparing for the falling leaf maneuver. At a certain altitude, the aircraft slowed down and entered a leaf-like descent state. This maneuver highlights both the aircraft's excellent aerodynamic design and the pilot's outstanding flying skills. The audience's excitement peaked as the pilot performed the Cobra maneuver, abruptly lifting the nose during high-speed flight before smoothly returning to normal. This requires extremely high engine performance and control systems. As the world's first fifth-generation fighter jet, the F-22 still holds a leading position today. Its clean and rugged design remains a favorite among military enthusiasts. However, in terms of maneuverability, it still lags slightly behind the Su-57. Have you ever wondered why, despite both using Su-30 fighter jets, China has become increasingly proficient with them while India still struggles, even with hands-on guidance? Back in the 1990s, both China and India turned to Russia, seeking new aircraft. Two Russian aircraft manufacturers began customizing new planes for these two clients. By 2004, one manufacturer had already completed deliveries, while the other had just started delivering the full-version models. These two aircraft became known as China's Su-30 MKK and India's Su-30 MKI. To better understand, let's first go over the Su-30 family tree. The Su-30 fighter jet was developed by the Sukhoi Design Bureau based on the Su-27 platform. Under Sukhoi, there were two manufacturing plants: the Komsomolsk on Amur aircraft plant, KNAAPO, and the Irkutsk aviation plant. Since the Su-27 was designed and built by KNAAPO, it was natural for this plant to begin developing the Su-30 variants. After building a prototype known as the Blue 02 to ensure continued production of the Su-27, the development of the Su-30 was transferred to the Irkutsk plant. Shortly after, the Soviet Union collapsed. Afterward, China and India each approached Russia to place their orders. India went directly to the Russian government, which naturally referred them to the official Su-30 developer, Irkutsk. This led to the creation of the Su-30 MKI based on India's requirements. China, on the other hand, directly worked with KNAAPO, which it was already cooperating with at the time, and based on their experience with the Su-27, they customized and upgraded their version into the Su-30 MKK. Russia's own Su-30 SMX also comes from the official Su-30 developer, Irkutsk, but India essentially acted as a test subject on the technological path leading to it. It should be noted that these two aircraft are vastly different. Both began development in 1996, but by 2004, China had already received all its Su-30 MKK units, while India had only just completed development of the Su-30 MKI. The aircraft India received earlier were all incomplete Su-30K models, or even just Su-27UB trainers. When China's Air Force had already begun production of the J-16, India was still manufacturing Su-30 MKIs with late 1990s technology. Clearly, the fate of these two aircraft was determined as early as 1996, when the orders were placed. China and India took completely different technological paths. At the time, China's concept for a new fighter was a practical one. It needed longer range, greater payload, longer service life than the Su-27, and most importantly, fast delivery to rapidly expand its air force. As a result, China relied heavily on mature technologies. India, in contrast, focused solely on enhancing air combat capability, demanding cutting-edge technologies such as thrust vectoring nozzles, canards, and passive phased array radar. Normally, this wouldn't be a problem, but this was 1990s Russia, where even feeding the staff was a challenge. How could they afford extensive testing of advanced systems? Indeed, the so-called advanced technologies used in the Su-30 MKI proved to be unreliable. The thrust vectoring nozzles were manually adjustable and required replacement after just 20 hours of use. Ideally, nozzle angle should be controlled by the flight control system, but Russia's flight control technology at the time wasn't up to the task. Despite this, the Su-30 MKI featured an even more flight control-dependent component: canards. They were included out of necessity because the N011M passive phased array radar was simply too heavy, over 600 kilograms, whereas the contemporary American AN/APG-79 radar weighed just around 200 kilograms. The canards were added to balance the aircraft. In theory, canards improve maneuverability and stability at high angles of attack, but only if supported by a competent flight control system. The end result was increased complexity and dead weight. On paper, the Su-30 MKI looked impressive. It was Russia's first fighter with a passive phased array radar, claiming a head-on detection range of 120 to 140 kilometers against a 5-square-meter aerial target, and the ability to track 24 air or ground targets simultaneously. But paper stats are just that: paper. In joint exercises with the U.S. Air Force, the Su-30 MKI was found to have long sight, but poor clarity, leading to frequent friendly fire incidents. During one aerial combat exercise, referred to as the Tu-27 air battle, it couldn't even see its targets. That's not to say the Su-30 MKI is completely useless. It does feature many advanced technologies. Unfortunately, due to the limited capabilities of India's aerospace industry, even after Russia fully transferred Su-30 MKI technology to India, they were unable to upgrade or improve the aircraft. In the end, Russia absorbed all the technological innovations from the Su-30 MKI and developed the Su-30SMX, which inherited almost all of its technology and became a mainstay in Russia's aerospace forces. So, as the saying goes, India was taught step by step, yet still couldn't learn. The contrast in Su-30 development between China and India mirrors the broader differences in their aviation industries. China's Air Force and aerospace sector are more pragmatic and better understand their own needs. While China's aviation industry has taken some missteps, it learns from them. This might be one of the key reasons why China has reached its current level of aerospace development